It's Earth Defense Force 5 on PlayStation 4. It's a game about shooting bugs, big bugs, lots of different types of bugs, and UFOs too. You get those pretty crazy. So you've got your standard campaign sort of thing, and then you've got online, 4 players can work together, and then you've got your local 2-player split screen mode if that's something you fancy. Just gonna do the single player. There's a lot of campaign missions to this. You know, it's quite expansive, and you can kind of keep playing, I guess. I don't know. I think it's kind of neat. You have a couple different classes here. They do different things, different abilities. I play as the standard ranger, and from there you're able to kind of customize your equipment. There's different options and tools and weapons and support equipment, and you can have different stuff, and you can change your armor color if you'd like. I don't know why my color changed. I was rocking the green. I think the red, yeah. Anyways, and then you're able to jump into the match. As you can see, there's a bunch of different levels present. We're going to start with something a little bit simpler just to kind of get into it, and that is just level 4 as a start. There's a few different difficulties, and you kind of unlock more if you'd like to keep playing a lot of the game. And again, there's a lot of levels and content to this. The levels aren't too long. You know, they range and they differ based on how fast you move through them. And then you largely revolve around shooting enemies or shooting positions or doing stuff like that. They're not too dynamic. The game is just wildly a lot of fun, though. It's a silly sort of destroy giant monster things. It feels kind of like Starship Troopers, to be honest. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. So you got your weapons. I got rockets and machine gun of sorts. And then sometimes you gotta blow up the pillars, and these kind of teleport in the giant bug things. It was like a sneak attack, generally narrative. Like, there's not really a story here. I mean, there kind of is. You hear like news kind of clippings, audio and stuff in the background, and you're in charge of the team sent in kind of to deal with these large-scale bug monsters that are destroying stuff. They just call them monsters, but you know, kind of like ants, and you see like spider type things that shoot webs, and then there's like red sort of ants too. It's a large scale world, so you actually get a pretty big environment to play in, but not a whole lot of detail in the backdrop. And again, it's kind of like a really silly sort of game. It's not like about anything serious. It doesn't take itself seriously. It carries that tone, but it feels like very much a satire, because you're shooting giant bug things. I don't know, I think it's quite a lot of fun to play. It does kind of feel a little repetitive after you play so many levels in a row, so I think it's good in bursts, and definitely quite a lot of fun. I haven't played any of the other past titles, so I was actually really excited when this just randomly showed up today to take a look at it. And yeah, I've just kind of been rolling through it, shooting bugs. The maps also have different environment types to them. Sometimes you get like cities that you're moving through, which we'll show afterwards. And then there's like rain, and then there's you know, snow, and you know, they mix it up a bit in what you're experiencing. Sometimes you're out in the outback, kind of like, you know, open sort of grass terrains and mountains. Again, the backgrounds aren't really too detailed. Neither are like the buildings that you're checking out. But it's yeah, it's kind of crazy, sort of neat. It's just the Earth under an invasion from giant monster things, and you're fighting back as the Earth Defense Force, which is EDF. Huzzah! And yeah, it's like really dynamic enemies too. You can really just shoot these things to bits, and you see all like the bug pieces just kind of like coming off and stuff. I think that's pretty cool. See, like, they're dead, and I'm still shooting them. I think that's kind of cool. And yeah, that's basically the sense of the game. So things get dropped too as you kill them. You get like crates, like these ammo or weapon ones, and there's health and ammo too, armor as well. And your job is just generally to clear out the enemies and survive. That's an important one. You're sort of just this random guy that is in this base, and he just gets a gun thrown in his hand, and you kind of just gotta go with it. Oh, damn. That's why I picked this level, because it's crazy. Yeah, that's just kind of a tease of one level. We're going to do something a little bit more intensive in this next one. A really different sort of environment. See, there's like civilians running around. It's quite hilarious. They're like, oh no, giant monster things. And this one again is, they're not all pole based. I mean, there's levels that don't have it at all. It just happens the ones I've picked are sort of based around it. So yeah, we've got different monsters this time, different giant creatures. And they like to mix it up, you know. You get kind of these wild, large-scale environments, these huge sandboxes. And you just gotta kind of fight for freedom, right? You know? You gotta fight for society because, you know, we can't fight back against these things and they're killing a lot of people. And you just gotta deal with it. Obviously, it's quite a bit of fun playing with other people too, if you have the opportunity. You can also destroy the environment to a degree, which I think is kind of nice, but you just kind of phase through it. It's not really like the stuff that's there. Yeah, it just kind of fades out. You can also like pull off like commands. They got a full sort of really in-depth kind of chatting system if you'd like to communicate with other people easily. We can roll. Combat roll for life, am I right? And then you just switch weapons and you shoot more monsters. I mean, it's not complicated. It's just going around and shooting big bug things. And I find that kind of awesome and a little bit fun to do that. It's just kind of like a mindless, over-the-top, intense action game that's just packed with content and missions to play. And I wish there was more of an intense story. I mean, you just kind of get bits of it told by like the troops and stuff, and sometimes the troops like repeat the same phrases, which is kind of weird, but whatever. They just kind of do their own thing too. They, you know, they're just running around just like the people there. You gotta do your thing. But it's good. It's just like a nice playground of destruction and wild battles. I mean, I don't think you would expect anything else from this one. I don't know. Depends on if you're like a fan of the series or you know about it. Because again, this is my first try. I've always kind of looked at this franchise in the past. And I've been like, it's kind of appealing. And yeah, no, it's quite fun. I'd probably play more of these because I imagine they'll keep doing them. I mean, you just throw soldiers down and you get a bunch of giant monsters in there. Wow, the citizens don't seem to be having a very good time with the monsters. Whoa! Big booms, big destructions. And again, sometimes you get like UFOs and stuff that you legit have to fight, like drone-based UFOs that are flying up in the sky. It's pretty crazy. And your screen could just get frantically packed with monsters and stuff. And for the most part, it actually runs pretty well, even like on this like base PlayStation 4. I was quite surprised by, you know, just how well it actually does perform, despite all of the crap going on. I mean, you can destroy all kinds of stuff. You can like shoot the trees down and stuff, and the poles, and you can break everything. But I guess that's kind of given when the details aren't exactly massive in this one. I mean, it's pretty basic visuals. It gives you the idea of the world, but yeah, it doesn't really go too beautiful, as to say. I think it looks fine for what it is. I mean, you're destroying things. Who cares about the environment? So it's just like a backdrop for you to smash and destroy. And I think it's quite cool. I mean, this is a very different sort of experience. I mean, they basically said, you know, it would be fucking awesome if we have all these people. They come in, maybe they play with friends, maybe by themselves, and they just shoot giant monsters. I mean, this is like 8-legged freaks here. It's crazy. We'll throw little bits of objectives in there, but you know what? We'll kind of let them just go at it. And I think that actually works quite well, especially when it's backed by, you know, a variety of levels to play as, with options to playing them with others, locally and online. And yeah, it's just sort of one wacky, weird game. I mean, look at this. I'm fighting giant spiders, and there's purple blood flying everywhere. The HUD is also minimalistic. You've got like a map up there in the top right. We've got our guns in the bottom right. And then on the top left, you see my armor and my health. That's really all there is to it. It's nice and easy going. You just go in, shoot some giant bugs. And was that a limb that just went flying by? Because that's pretty cool. And you enjoy your basically endless rocket launcher. It's pretty awesome. Whoa. Are there more creatures to deal with? It's just like it's sort of just silly, but I absolutely love this style of this. Though going back to that, it can kind of feel repetitive, right? Like we've just been moving around a city and shooting these creatures and then shooting pillars, and that's really all there is to it to a degree. I mean, they mix it up and they tell it like different perspectives and different locations, but you're doing the same sort of task. I almost want just like a Dynasty Warrior style thing where it's like you're fighting hundreds of these bugs at once, and you do get moments like that, but you get what I mean, where it's like it could benefit from leading into that simplicity even more, or go a little bit more engaged in terms of adding, you know, story-based content to this, because you don't really care about any of the characters you're with. They're kind of like just side things to your random nameless dude that's coming in here to shoot stuff. I mean, I don't even know what's going on with these monsters right now. I'm just shooting these pillars because I know that's what gets the job done. Big boom. Yeah, it's pretty wild. It's nice to have a team, though. You feel like you're part of a bigger picture, and I think a lot of games sort of forget that and make you just like a one-man army, which is just silly for war-type games. I mean, there's nothing like being a god in a one-man arming, like one-man armying like 40 or 50 people. Really? And it's kind of ridiculous. Damn spiders jumping in the way. So this one you're actually seeing soldiers and people running by, and you care less because you've got a job to do. Who else wants to get whipped? It's a whipping situation. Look at that craziness. Uh-oh, I gotta be careful, you know, blast myself. And then you just clear up the enemies and you get to go on to the next mission. Just one continuous epic adventure. Again, quite a bit of content to this. And the visuals aren't amazing, but it plays quite well, handles well. And you just go around shooting giant, big, ugly creatures and sending them back to where they came from. And then you get a big mission accomplished on the top. And that makes you feel, well, mission cleared. Same thing. It makes you feel like a good person for saving the day. Alright, we're in yet another later level. Alright, seeing the more tactical individuals getting in there. And we're kind of just fighting back at this point. Because things are not looking good for humanity. The bugs are powerful. Well, they're not powerful, they're just overwhelming. As bugs would be. It's actually pretty crazy. I think they say like 20% of the population gets killed. I don't know, this is kind of wild. It's sort of just background noise to my explosions and murdering of giant bugs. I ain't scared no bugs. Look at that. Nothing more satisfying than seeing a giant ant explode all over the place. So do they not have ants in this universe? That's kind of my question, like lore-wise. Just because you'd look at these and you'd be like, oh, you know, these are giant ants. And they just call them monsters, so that's kind of a curious thing to think about. Something I ponder in the lore. And I don't think you really need to know any of the past games to jump into this one. I haven't really noticed anything story-wise, so nothing to be lost on. Unless there's some kind of big thematic thing that I'm missing out on. But yeah, you just kind of jump in here as a random guy, whatever, and you start shooting stuff down. Having a good time while doing it. And the worlds are actually very impressive, scale-wise. I mean, these are large areas that you're shooting things on, and they've got distinct spots. I mean, you don't even really visit that many locations on a map, and you can see how far they go. You actually get like a sense of being in a city. You see trees in the far distance. It does render quite well too, actually, you know. I don't see too much pop-in anywhere. You know, nothing unless you're really looking for it. But again, it's not like the prettiest looking game out there. But it does have really cool big bugs that you fight and giant mech things and stuff too. And your classes vary in what you can sort of control out there on the field. It's not exactly just an infantry experience, but a large portion of it actually is, you know, running around on foot shooting things, collecting ammo, and then keeping the fight going. They get everything? Those guys can kill that spider over there. As I shoot more civilians. I am sorry, comrades. Comrades, are we doing? I don't know where we're located. I just love the environment. You destroy everything like that. It just doesn't care. Are they not able to kill the one spider thing? What do they pay these guys for? I don't even know how I became the hero of this deal. Let's see if we can get over here and finish this off so we can progress. What I really found funny was that you can use your like machine gun and just shoot down UFOs. There was a pretty funny situation, and just hectic. Like, there's so many that go on the screen at once. It's amazing they were able to pack all those in there and not have critical problems. I don't know, this is a pretty fun game, I think. It definitely looks wacky. I mean, have you seen anything like this? I haven't seen anything like this before. I'm sure if you've played the other games, you might have actually seen something like this before, but to me, it's all new. And it's nice to play a new kind of established franchise, considering there's not that many left for me. So, you know, playing so many damn games these days. It's nice to have a bit of a mix-up. I should have probably picked a UFO level, but I think the bugs are the heart of this. And if you're not battling bugs, what are you doing with your life? I wish the run thing wasn't weird. It's like a press on the left-hand stick, which is just awkward as hell on the PlayStation. Not a comfy controller, personally. As I get mad hate for it, but yeah, I don't like it. And bam, there we go. That is Earth Defense Force number 5. I'm sure I know there's been spin-offs and stuff, but this is the mainline entry 5, so yeah, you know what to expect. In this latest entry, that is just full of bugs and gore and bits and stuff like that everywhere, and people dying. Good luck out there, Marines.